Hi there. Hello. My name's Bruce. This is my channel. I'd like to thank you for clicking on watch, or if you didn't click, I'd like to thank you for watching. And if you're a subscriber, I would definitely like to thank you for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, I would like to invite you to subscribe. I very much enjoy it when people subscribe. It makes me feel good. It's my it's one of 2 or 3 rewards that I get for doing this. The first reward is that it gives me an opportunity to express some of my views on public policy, economics, governance, these things. And the second thing is, what the heck? Almost everybody likes the sound of their own voice, and maybe I'm not any different. I enjoy the sound of my own voice. But anyway, so if you could please subscribe, that'd be great. I'm having a subscriber drive, and the goal in terms of subscribers is to get to 650 subscribers, which in the truth of the matter is 650 more than I ever imagined about 3 years ago when I began doing this that I would ever have. And if you're looking for some real fun, I invite you to go back and watch some of the very earliest videos and let me know if they're worse now or better or more or less the same. Anyway, okay, on to the topic of today. The topic of today is, let's just say, whittling. When I was a child, I think I was 4, I decided that what I needed to make my life better on the basis of watching a whole lot of TV shows about children playing in the wilderness was a pocket knife. And I took my pocket knife and I whittled. I went to the backyard of my grandmother's house because she was foolish enough to buy me a knife, and I whittled away for about 30 seconds, whereupon I cut this hand right down to the bone. And then some other children came along, and they were going down to the local duck pond to feed the ducks, and that sounded better than bleeding to death, so I went with them. Whittling. Okay. What does this have to do with anything? It's this. The province of Ontario, and now this applies universally, okay? And Diane Arbus said that if you want to make a really universal message, it's going to be really specific. Focus in, because people can identify in that. If you read the book by Timothy Finley, The Wars, the first bit of it, he's talking about horses being transported to Europe for use in cavalry during World War I, and he's focusing the misery on how those horses must have felt in the bowels of the ship, and I don't think it was really very good. Specifics. Okay, whittling, specifics. Ontario, right now, here's the nut of the matter, $14.8 billion. $14.8 billion. Well, the newly minted Minister of Energy for the province of Ontario held a press conference, or made a news announcement, but it was kind of a press conference, I guess, where they were being a bit boastful that the refurbishment of one aspect of the Darlington nuclear facility, nuclear generating plant, has been completed about 4 or 5 months ahead of schedule and, quote, on budget. The thing about the on budget thing is you can really make a silk purse out of a sow's ear when it comes to budget. You can make up any numbers you want. You can make it kind of work, especially when it comes to projects that take a long time and vast sums. $14.8 billion is the budget for the refurbishment of the Darlington nuclear plant. That's refurbishment. And if you've been following my discussion of nuclear, I've been explaining that if you are the proud owner of nuclear generating facilities, the correct thing to do is to maintain your facilities, because it's like fixing the roof on your house. I mean, it's leaking, you're going to fix it, or you're going to fix it before it leaks, but you already own these things, so let's treat them well and reap the benefit. That's it. In this case, the refurbishment budget, $14.8 billion. Might be 14.7, but it's a number like that, and I'm pretty sure it's Canadian dollars, so if you're watching this from France or Germany or Switzerland or Europe or Australia or one of these other places in the world, or Asia, China. China's great. If you've been, get a chance to go. You can see some stuff. Anyway, see some really modern things. But anyway, okay, $14.8 billion. Let's assume it's Canadian. Okay, to refurbish nuclear plant. Fix one. Now, if you're going to build a new one, it's not going to be 14.8, let's call it $15 billion. It's way more. Way more. And a round number might be, if you're going to start off down the road, you're going to build a new nuclear plant, a good amount of money to have in your back pocket might be $150 billion. That's US. The reason I say that, pull that number out of the air, is because Mr. Bill Gates, a person who I greatly admire, he's building a nuclear plant. He's attempting to build a small modular nuclear reactor. Now, if you tune in earlier, you'll know that there's nothing really small about it, there's nothing really modular about it, and they're certainly not economical. But Bill Gates has $150 billion, and he said, well, you know what? I'm going to finance this thing up to the last nickel or until I go broke, whichever comes first. He's committed. Now, the thing about Bill Gates is it's his money. If he wants to spend it on building a nuclear plant, as long as that falls within the boundaries of the regulatory regime that he's doing it in, fine, right? It's the traditional concerns about nuclear, they don't really play out, but the one that does play out is budget. If you want to burn $150 billion in the middle of the desert, go ahead. Now, this channel is about governance, public policy, and macroeconomics. Economics in the advancing the public good. I've talked before about the roles of the individual in society, the roles of business, the roles of government. Recap. Individuals, your job is to enjoy your life, have fun, provide for your family, maximize your utility is the economic term. Businesses, your job is solely to earn a profit. That's your job. Government, more complicated. The government's job is to maximize the well-being of everyone within the economy. You're going to balance competing interests. You're going to do things. You must behave rationally and wisely. That's key. Now, building a new nuclear plant, that was a great idea in 1954. It was a great idea in 1964. Why? Because even at that time, greenhouse gas emissions were actually a real thing. It's a concern. We're paying the price now. And there was kind of not a lot of alternatives. There was hydroelectric, and there was a big dam building frenzy, and there's nuclear. Those are the ones that didn't involve combustion. Combustion, you can burn coal, you can burn gas, you can burn wood, you can burn a bunch of stuff, and you create a heat engine. Heat engines are about, round numbers, 28% efficient. They're limited by the maximum theoretical efficiency is a thing called a Carnot cycle, which is, this gets boring in a hurry, but they don't exist in reality, and that's the best you can do. The best you can do is like the number like 28%. Okay. That's why, if you get a chance, watch the series Chernobyl, because in the series Chernobyl, the actor that's played by the British guy, I forget his name, but he's a tremendous actor, and his father played in the Clint Eastwood movie The Unforgiven. But anyway, English Bob was his father's character in Unforgiven. But Richard Harris's son. Anyway, so he's explaining the nuclear accident, and he's using terms thermal. Okay, there was X petawatts, gigawatts, exawatts, thermal. Okay, because if you're creating, let's just say 300 megawatts thermal, you're going to get about less than 100 megawatts of electricity, and what you really want is the electricity, the thermal thing. Oh, I had a little pause there. I had been talking about Richard Harris's son in the series Chernobyl. Notwithstanding that, talking about energy and power generation, this idea of thermal, not thermal, the idea that when you burn something and you're going to convert it to electricity, you're going to get about 1/3 of the thermal energy is converted to electricity. It's kind of a good thing to keep in the back of your head. Or you can go to your local university, take a first-year course in thermodynamics. You're going to learn all about this stuff. Regardless, the important number is this $14.8 billion that's spent on the refurbishment of the Darlington nuclear facility, and the idea that the newly minted Minister of Energy for the province of Ontario, who every time he says something, he always says, the Premier and I are in agreement, which is code for, we're really taking our orders from the guy that has questionable education resume. The Premier and Minister Lecce are in agreement. Wow. Anyway, okay. It's $15 billion refurbishment. Okay, I explained. That's great. What's not great is building new nuclear facilities. To build the Darlington plant over again is not $15 billion. I talked about Bill Gates, $150 billion. That's not even a good, comfortable budget number. It's more than that, for sure. An accepted thing in some circles of people with certain measures of experience, as some people have, is that nuclear costs about 100 times the next viable option. The accepted number for solar generation, grid scale solar, and it doesn't take up that much land. If you look at the amount of land that nuclear facilities take out and you say, well, what if we made all that into solar? It'd blow your mind how much you really get. The accepted number for new solar installations is on the order, at this moment in 2024, is $1 per megawatt. Sorry, $1 per watt. So $15 billion gets you 15,000 megawatts of solar. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 15,000. Think for a second. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's real. 15,000 megawatts of solar. And you say, well, geez, what is 15,000? That doesn't sound like a lot. Well, 15,000 megawatts is nominally the generating capacity of the province of Ontario at this exact second. 15,000 megawatts is great. Then you say, what if it's cloudy? Well, if it's cloudy, maybe you get somewhat less than 15,000 megawatts, but you don't get zero. And it's going to be sunny somewhere. What if it's raining? What if it's dark? What if? If you go back in my videos, I made one about the yabbits. It's because every time you say something, people go, yeah, but what? Yeah, but, yeah, yeah, but, yeah, but. Okay, all the yabbits are addressable, and they're not even real. If you get 15,000 megawatts of solar, and you couple that with another technology that's proven it exists, it's like a small modular reality, is grid scale battery storage. So we can shift it from the availability of the energy from the daytime when it's sunny, assuming we're only doing solar, to the nighttime when it's not sunny. You're going to keep it somewhere. You keep it in batteries. This is real. It exists. People do it. There's companies that do it. Okay. There's companies that will put in grid scale battery storage, charge the batteries, say in the province of Ontario, charge the batteries overnight when the overnight electricity price is about 3 cents per kilowatt hour, and then sell it back to the grid during the peak demand hours when the electricity price is on the order of 30 cents per kilowatt hour. This thing makes great sense. That's real, and people do it. Okay, I'm going to summarize, and then I'm going to continue. The summary is this: new nuclear plants? No. It is not an effective use of the resources within your economy at all. Okay? At all. There you go. At all. Now, back to this battery thing. In the province of Ontario, there was a company, and they wished to install some grid-scale batteries in the eastern part of the province, close to Quebec, near Cornwall, I think. And there was a community meeting, and the head of the company was there, and he was going to answer questions and address it. And a bunch of people that were... do you ever notice how these days there's some very extreme people with very extreme views, and they're immovable in their views, and they're very vocal, and they tend to use profanity and violence to express their mindset. Anyway, a group of people of this variety attended this meeting. They threatened the president of the company with, I think they may have threatened him with bodily harm or worse, or his family, etc. And the guy just said, you know what? After a while, we can put this thing anywhere. We're done. Goodbye. Okay, there you go. Presented with a GHG-free option that works really well within the milieu of your present reality, and the guy got chased out of town by a mob. It's a tragedy. Tragedy. And the premier of our province, the premier, who's a very charismatic figure. He's even bigger than I am. I'm pretty large, more than 1x. He's bigger than I am, maybe. I haven't gotten too close with the gentleman. He's a tremendous communicator. He has a great voice. For some reason, people listen to him. He has a great voice. He has great head of hair, and people listen to him. And he has influence. So he could use this influence for good, or he could use this influence for castigation. Good would be saying, he had one good moment about 4 years ago, but good would be saying, these are the problems that we face within our province. This is the suite of solutions that we've been offered to solve these problems. This is the solution that we're going to pursue. This is the metrics against which we're going to evaluate the solution. And this is the timeline against which we're going to evaluate it. So if we're going to look at it again in 6 months, a year, 2 years, and is it working? Yes. Could it be better? Maybe. Adjust. Begin, reevaluate, adjust. That's like kind of a cogent Kaizen method of application. Anyway, okay, my name's Bruce. This is my channel. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I hope that it's not too boring. I'm violating a whole bunch of rules of video making, or of a whole bunch of rules of storytelling. You're better off to show someone something than to tell someone something. But the reality of my video making capacity is this. Sometimes they're better. Hopefully, sometimes they're not as good. Hopefully, I hope you find this acceptable, and please subscribe. And one thing you can do is leave a comment. Oh, someone had commented, I'll mention this, that in their comments they said, France has not abandoned their nuclear program, their nuclear energy. That's true. France has not abandoned nuclear energy. France was embarked on building new nuclear plants, building new nuclear small modular reactors. They don't exist really anywhere in the world. They're going to try this. They got billions of dollars and years down the road, and they just said, you know what? This is madness. We're not doing it. Stop. Madness, stop. And that is, if you're going to be the leader of an area, the prime minister of a country, the president of a country, the leader of even the leader of Russia, you could say, hey, this is madness. Stop. We thought it might be a good idea. We now realize it's completely silly. We're not doing it anymore. Anyway, my name's Bruce. This is my channel. Please subscribe. Thank you very much. All right. Bye.